So Google just opened up their entire developer documentation to AI tools, and it is called the Developer Knowledge MCP server. It basically allows AI tools, whether it's AntiGravity or Claude Code, Gemini CLI, or even Cursor, to search and read Google's official documentation in real time. Let me explain this with two quick examples. Let's say that you ask your AI, should I use Cloud Run or Cloud Functions for my microservices? Now, without this MCP server, your AI gives you an answer based on whatever it learned during its training, which could be 6 months old or maybe older. Pricing may have changed, concurrency limits might be different now. You won't know if you're getting current information or outdated advice. But with the Developer Knowledge MCP connected, your AI actually searches Google's live documentation. It pulls the current specs, current pricing, and also the current best practices. And based on all of this, it will give you an answer which is absolutely perfect for today, right? Now, same thing with migration. Let's say that you ask, I need to migrate from Cloud Functions Gen 1 to Gen 2, and what has changed, right? Now, without the MCP, your AI is again guessing from the old training data. With this MCP, it's reading the actual migration guide that Google might have updated just last week. That is the shift, right? Before, AI trained once and then knowledge is frozen. And now AI is actually connected to live documentation thanks to this MCP. So in this video, I'm going to take you how you can set this up very quickly for your environment, whether it is anti-gravity or any other IDE. And we'll also run a couple of examples so that you can see this live in action. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so right now I am in my favorite agentic IDE, which is anti-gravity, and I'm going to ask this particular question, which is help me choose between Cloud Run and Cloud Functions for a new microservice, create a comparison table with primary use case, concurrent limits, cold start behavior, and pricing model. Now, what it is going to do, as we all know, that anti-gravity has access to Google search, so it is going to search on the web and it is going to look into each one of the things that we have asked, right? So first of all, it's going to find the primary use case, concurrency limits, cold behavior, and pricing model. And it is going to come back to us with a response over here, right? So that's the idea. And you can see that it has started generating the response. And this is what we were expecting, right? So Cloud Run Service versus Cloud Function, both first gen and second gen as well. So it has given both, and then it has also given pricing model and stuff like that, which is fine, right? The problem is, I don't know if it is absolutely the latest and if it is coming directly from the Google documentation, right? Now, this is where what I can do is now I can click on the MCP server, manage MCP servers, and here I have an option to configure this Google Developer Knowledge MCP. I'm going to explain you how to configure step by step, how to enable the APIs, etc. But right now, for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to enable this and I'm going to ask the same question all over again, right? So this MCP server provides access to tools like search documents, which will actually go into the Google documentation across multiple Google services, Apigee, Android, Chrome, you can see Firebase, and then Google Cloud as well. So these two services, Cloud Run and Cloud Function, are Google Cloud services, and then it will also get the document and also like batch get documents. So these are the tools which are available or being exposed via this particular MCP server, right? So now that I have enabled this, I'm going to ask pretty much the same question over here, which is help me choose between Cloud Run and Cloud Functions and give me a comparison table, right? So the idea is it should be able to use the MCP server, and there you go. So it is already doing that, and it is running this particular query, and it should be able to provide the latest and greatest information from the Developer Knowledge MCP. So you can see that this is the answer that it has provided. You also notice that it says that Google recently unified these two products, which is Cloud Functions. Second gen is now technically Cloud Run Functions, and it runs your code as a Cloud Run service as well. So this is coming directly from the live documentation. So you are almost going to be certain and sure that this is the latest and greatest information. So that was a quick demo. You can of course do this in other IDEs as well. For example, Claude Code, because this is an MCP server, right? So you can enable it pretty much anywhere that you want to run this. Okay, let me take another quick example here. So let's say that I have to ask what is the conversational analytics API in BigQuery and how do I create an agent. You would see that this is again one of the latest announcements, and please do let me know if you want me to make a quick video on this. This is talking to BigQuery in a natural language, and also not only just getting the answer in text but also getting the answer in a visual format using charts and graphs, right? So this one is brand new. Now, if I go back and ask this question here, this, because of the knowledge API now, it should be able to get us the latest and greatest answer, which would be very difficult if you don't have access to the MCP server, right? Because this is like brand new information. And I would rather have it directly coming from the documentation versus just doing research and consolidating multiple answers via the Google search, right? So you can see that here it describes in much greater details how to create the data agent, etc. It also provides you the documentation, because obviously this is a documentation MCP, so it also provides you the details around it, right? This is pretty fantastic. Now that we have understood this and we have seen a quick demo, what I will do now is take you through how you can quickly enable this and then start leveraging this out of the box. Okay, so let's get into that. Okay, so the steps are pretty straightforward. There are basically three main steps. Step one is you will go into Google Cloud Console and enable this particular API. Second step will be you will actually create the API key. And third step is you will configure the MCP server in whatever IDE you prefer working with, right? So let's get into Google Cloud, and you can see here I am on my homepage. And if I search for this particular API, this will show up. So this is Developer Knowledge API. And once I'm here, I have already enabled the API just to show you guys a demo. But if this is not enabled, you will need to basically enable this. And then once this is enabled, then what you will do is you will get inside this. So click on manage. And then here you have this credentials, right? So this is where you're going to create a credential, which will be an API key. Click on that. And then once you have the API key created, then copy that API key. So this is the API key that I will have. Now, what you can also do is to make sure that this is not misused, you can go ahead and select and restrict the key only to this particular developer knowledge API. So that way, no one is able to actually like misuse this particular API. So you can go ahead and save this. And this way, this particular API is only restricted to this one application, right? So that's what you will create. I'm going to delete this API key after the demo, but this is the step that you will need to do. Okay, so now you have got the API key created. Now, step three is for you to now configure the MCP server. Now, for that, if you come to this particular link, and I will share the link, which is, it's basically a developer page, right? Here, they've explained how to connect to the Developer Knowledge MCP server. And if you scroll down, they talk about how do you install. So this is exactly the steps that I followed. You should be able to replicate this. And then here is where you can configure your MCP server depending on the AI application of your choice, right? So you can see that this is for AntiGravity, this is for Gemini CLI, this is for Code Assist, Firebase Studio, Claude Code, Cursor, and they also have something for Windsurf. And I'm assuming this might continue to grow. So you already have the API key from this, right? So you should also keep that handy. And then I'm going to go into AntiGravity once again, right? So this is where I'm going to open the agent mode. And then this is, once you are in the agent mode, this is where the MCP servers are. So if you look for document or knowledge, you won't find that MCP server because it's just not there. And that's where you will have to go and manually configure this. So you won't see this right out of the gate because this is not configured. I did this for the demo. So what you will do is there is a view raw config option here, and you will come here and basically copy paste what you saw over here, replacing the API key with your API key. And once you're done with that, then you will go ahead and save this. And once you refresh this, like, you will suddenly see all of these three tools that are available as part of the MCP server. So it is as simple as that. And then you can start asking questions, and you would see, as I was showing in the flow, you would be able to see the response where the agent is actually leveraging the MCP server, right? So here you can see that this is calling the search documents tool, and you can see the exact query that it has also made, right? So it is that straightforward. Now, the other thing that I wanted to make sure we understand is what are the tools available as part of the MCP server. So you can see that There is the search tool, search document tool, then get document, and then the batch get documents. This one is the most critical one, right? Which is where it will search based on the question that you're going to ask, and then once you've searched, then it is going to get you the full content of the document, etc., right? So they've also given some guides for you to leverage. So here, once you have exported the knowledge, the API key, then you can ask different types of questions as well, right? And then they've also given some examples of leveraging this directly as an API versus an MCP server, right? So you enable this, and then you can ask some questions as well. So there you go. This was a quick explanation of what is the latest Developer Knowledge API and the Developer Knowledge MCP server, how you can enable this, how you can use it within your IDE, what are the advantages. And I think this is going to be fantastic if you guys are leveraging any of the Google Cloud services, for you to be able to ensure and be confident the agent is getting the latest and greatest live information from the actual documentation and not just from multiple blogs and posts written out there in the internet. All right. So hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comment section if you guys have any questions. Obviously, I will leave all of these links in the description. Please do let me know if you are interested in the conversational analytics video. I can explain how you can configure that and how does it look from a visualization perspective. So please let me know in the comment section if you're interested in that. Thanks again for your time. If you're new here, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you can see these kind of videos on a regular basis. And if you're already a subscriber, if you like this video, please hit that like button as well. Thank you once again for your time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.